the chicks is thicker. Reppin' for the team, that's the bench of Houston Sippers. She don't want your liquor, she don't want your chipper. She poppin' for a legend, that's a real massa flipper. This is for la raza, this is for la raza. I'm in my trap, casa whipping up the damn massa. Welcome to another episode of the What Did He Said podcast, man. This is episode number
55.
55, one a row. I feel like we should be at like 75 by now.
It does feel like that.
Like this number ain't going up, bro.
Okay, maybe it's just me, but I feel like we've podcasted a lot.
And we're barely on 55?
Yeah.
Shout out to Juan Villarreal. His episode is up. I was listening to that earlier. Sounding good, man. He's some good ass mics. Rob, doing a hell of a job, brother.
These are awesome, and there's some good stories too. Like I was just enthralled by some of the old school comedy stories.
Yeah, soaking it up. And I'm a baby in the comedy game, so soon I'll have some of those too, man.
Yeah. You'll
5
be the one
years,
people.
babe. This year,
yeah,
August.
In August, I'm
wow.
gonna make 5 years.
5 years.
And I'm gonna have this fire hour. Right now, I got a hot 48, but I'm about to have an hour and 20. According to Rick, I'm going to have an hour 20.
Let me ask y'all this. As y'all frequent a lot of clubs, comedians often talk about an hour sometimes is too long to keep people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
They love 30-minute, like Joey Diaz and those degenerates, the small little Netflix specials. Mm-hmm. Do you like 30-minute specials or do you want to like shoot for an hour?
No, I want to do an hour.
Yeah, I don't like 30
I want to be the main course.
Now. If at your show, your hour is just kind of like, when are you going to get to your point?
Nah, you don't want that.
Then it's kind of like,
that's
okay,
I'm
not going to.
That means you really ain't got an hour. When I say an hour, I mean like quality, tried and tested, polished, amazing. Like it's a loaded gun. And it's like, holy shit, this thing is killing. It's killing. And I
burped.
That's hilarious.
I was one of them any burp. It was like an
I
any.
was trying so hard to stay away from this thing. I was
funny.
like,
No.
Especially when you're getting intimate and you just...
no.
The first comment on the podcast that we just put up, or that people listen to with one, is like, "Where's Mighty Soul?" That was the first comment that came up.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, she was running errands.
I was running errands.
We've been
that
busy.
day.
Yeah.
But, if you're listening, which you are, duh. Man, on YouTube, bro, we need to get these YouTube views up because I know our plays are good.
Okay, here's where I think this is might help us. All right. So we've been toying around with the idea of doing a live podcast, right? And for you guys who actually listen, I really would like to know who would come out. Like maybe that's something that we can put up
like
on social media. Yeah, like live audience. Like if y'all are really down to come out, we currently have Chingo, Bling and Friends at the Joke Joint, right? Mm-hmm. So our idea is to maybe before the actual comedy show begins, right? We have this live podcast.
Or in lieu.
Yeah. So we don't know if it's like, okay, damn, that's like a long ass day from 7 to...
Or maybe we do 6 weeks Chingo and Friends comedy, and then the following X amount of weeks, we do it live there.
That's cool, too.
Yeah, that's a good idea, too. So I just would like to see, like, it'd be almost like a drinks and dinner, and you guys... And it gives the audience a chance, or the listeners to kind of ask and participate, or whatever it is, And then
Q&A.
A little Q&A also. I don't know. I'm curious to see what the listeners
also
would think about that.
On the YouTube end, maybe we should have it be a premiere. Like, what days do you upload?
Mondays.
So let's just pretend it was like Mondays at 8 p.m. or whatever it may be, and we get that word out. So it's like, it uploads consistently.
True.
We could do that. That's kind of what I try to do on Facebook. And I think, Facebook just does it translates better to the audience, it seems like, for podcasts. Like, you'll get thousands and thousands, immediately like 5,000 people will see it or will have watched it. Whereas YouTube, it's like, they're going for a specific thing and they don't quite stick around because they're not too familiar with it. Like, people that are on YouTube watch YouTube-type shows. People that are on your Facebook watch your Facebook-type content, which is a lot of, videos and podcasts. And do you know what I mean?
I think once we get the ball rolling, because... I'm sure a lot of people, let's just say, shout out to Theo Vaughn, who we're going to go watch tomorrow.
Oh, what time?
It's not tomorrow, baby.
It's not this Thursday?
Yeah.
It's tomorrow?
Tomorrow he opened up Thursday, but it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Oh, it is this. It is tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I'm going tomorrow at 10 p.m.
I haven't gotten a babysitter.
Okay, which one are we going? 8 p.m.?
We're going to 8 p.m.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to ask babysitter today.
Okay, we'll figure that out. That's the type of shit behind the scenes.
Man, I don't know why I thought it was next week for some reason. That's why I hadn't even bothered with it. I was like, whatever.
We're juggling a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, my point is this. If you're a Theo Von fan and you're wanting to go watch his podcast on YouTube, you're going to go on YouTube, you're going to type in, let's say Theo Von or Joe Rogan or Diaz or whoever you listen to, right? So I think we're going to get to that point. For sure. So I ain't tripping.
Yeah, no. and we enjoy watching that stuff. Like, you know, when it's time for us to hang out, we'll watch like Joe Rogan. We'll sit there.
And she schedules me in. No. You know, dude. Last night, let me just tell y'all, man. I smoked a little something. I watched a Michael Moore documentary and then backdoored with motherfucking Matrix.
Oh, just you or both of y'all?
I came out. I was putting the baby to sleep.
She was kind of in and out the room. I was like, dude, you need to sit down and watch this Michael Moore. It's called Fahrenheit 11/9. Again, I'm not trying to get into the politics because people are gonna be like, oh, you know, F Chingo, he's anti-Trump or he's anti-war, whatever. It ain't even about that. It's an entertaining documentary from a very good filmmaker. The editing is great. They're going to be like, yeah, because that's all it is, bro, because he's lying, he's hating. Dude, the part that got me was the part about, like, Flint still not having water.
And for me, it was the school also.
Which school? Oh, the school shooting.
The school shooting.
That footage of the kids on Snapchat.
There's kids who are on Snapchat
There's,
who
like,
are
blood
recording.
On the floor. Bro, I don't know where they got all this footage from.
Seriously, when I was watching that part, I was about to go put Penny to sleep. And when I was watching that, I said, I got a little choked up because I felt so bad for those kids. And I guess because now I actually have
Parkland.
You know, like, I couldn't imagine Mickey going through that. And I actually asked her one time, I said, hey, boo, just out of curiosity, do you guys have like fire drills or do you guys have like shooting drills? Like what happens if someone, she goes, yeah, we have both. And I was like, so what do y'all do? So when she was explaining to me, I was like, I know you're younger, but did you have drills like that in school?
No, just fire and tornado drills.
Yeah, see, ours was just fire drills. Did you have a tornado?
I didn't have no shooting drills.
It's like, isn't it crazy now? Kids have to be trained to like know what to do in case of a shooting at your school. You can't even go to school now and feel safe.
No,
you know. Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know how I came up with my 10-year-old, but somehow maybe she overheard something, but it had to do with like little kids committing suicide.
I brought it up.
I was going to bring that up myself.
I brought it up because I was listening to it on Joe Rogan. There was the episode about how little girls now. He was talking about how it's so common in little girls. The suicide rate for little girls have gone up because they're trying to live up to social media and because of the bullying. Mm-hmm. So he was saying that now they're trying to live up.
Depressing episode. We're gonna lighten it up, but go ahead, baby.
Well, he was just explaining how now little girls want to be
where the beach
wants to. Let me finish before you keep interrupting me.
Go ahead.
He was talking about how now little girls want to live up to this image of what social media, like Botox and blah, blah, blah. And piggybacking
trying to get likes.
Piggybacking on this documentary stuff, last night I found another one. It's called Generation Wealth, which also speaks in regards to these things, how everyone's trying to live this keeping up with the Joneses life. It's
about a photographer.
It's about a photographer. Just a great documentary. If you have that Amazon Prime.
What's it called?
Generation Wealth.
I believe it's on Amazon Prime.
I haven't finished it, but up until where I got, it's crazy because it's even like a girl who was fisted. She was trying to make like a world record. You were falling asleep. You missed all this.
You missed that part?
Yeah. And so she was fisted by 58 guys.
Wow.
Because she was trying to like get popular and
then what happened?
And all the guys
How old was she?
Young. Not like
legal?
super legal, but young. And so they're doing the behind the scenes, like where they're going to record. They don't show it, right, obviously, but all the guys who are about to fist her are kind of all sitting Indian style around, just kind of waiting. And she's like on this like almost like a bench, bench press thing, and she's just sitting there like this, and she's waiting, and they're all going to be able to ejaculate on her. And one of them, she's just kind of wiping her face, and I was just like, oh my God, and that girl did a video on committing suicide. She was trying to kill herself. She'd done so much.
Yeah.
Like, just, she wanted to kind of like, just basically wash away all the stuff that she had done. All the sin.
This is after getting fisted by 58.
And doing a lot, in one, they show her, because the lady's documenting this, where she starts to cry and she says, I can't do this. And this is just her having sex with one guy on this porn video. And she's like, I can't do this. And she gets up and she kind of leaves and you know, oh, she's like, they're like, you got this, you can do it. And this little bitty skinny girl just, you know, all because now she's able to take care of her family. She had 11 abortions.
Jesus.
11 abortions. And this last time that the photographer was interviewing her, she was deciding to keep it, right? So she was trying to live now a straight life to where none of this. Now she's going to.
But was the baby daddy like another?
I have no. They
movie
didn't talk about who the baby daddy was, but the baby didn't survive. Regardless, she had a miscarriage, you know, and so she was kind of depressed, you know. I mean,
there's some jokes in there, guys.
Yeah, I know. It was just really sad, but I haven't finished it.
We're gonna go back and watch it again.
But it was like, it was so, it was so sad.
This
it was
is
really
the
sad.
What to Watch episode of the
for real. 'Cause I got a couple more movies.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna bring one up. Abducted in Plain Sight.
Oh, let me write that down. That's Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Today in jiu-jitsu, we were drilling. Like somebody tried to abduct you and throw you in a van. What you supposed to do?
For real?
Yeah, kind of. Like if they come behind, it's self-defense.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
But go ahead. I want to know how they abducting people so I can prepare.
Nah, man. This is a documentary on a whole nother level. It's a story of basically like next door neighbors, they're best friends. You know, the family has kids. The movie that the people that the movie's about, they have kids. Turns out, I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but
Sure.
But it's scripted. It's not a documentary.
No, it's based on a true story.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
based on a true story. So the girl's alive, so that's the bright side. The girl doesn't die, but
ain't no fisting in this one.
not. I mean,
Okay.
maybe, but all I'll
spoil it.
say is that the dad ends up jerking the guy off, and the guy ends up sleeping with the mom of the kid who he also abducted and slept with.
Huh?
Yeah, take that all in, everybody.
The dad whose daughter got abducted, he had to jack off the dude that abducted, like to free her. Like, hey,
Nope,
man, don't move.
just
kidfolk.
because he convinced him to do it.
He's like, man,
Just
look,
one day.
this is a deal.
He said,
You gonna let
What
my
is he
daughter-
going to get his daughter back if he jacked him off?
He didn't even. There wasn't even talk about that.
Maybe
yet.
like that was his skill. He's like, dude, I'm gonna do it so good, you gonna fall asleep, and we all gonna be free.
He's like, I need some release. I hate my wife. I need some release, and that's how it started.
Jesus Christ, I don't think I want to watch this, bro.
Oh my God.
Dumbest
You-
parents in the world, though. Just
I don't know, but
keep
you
that in
hyped it
mind.
up. You hyped it up until you lost me at the jacking off part. You lost me. But
Generation Wealth.
Okay. Abducted in plain sight.
Abducted in plain sight.
Generation Wealth, yeah. Actually, they had So in Generation Wealth, it's about a photographer, real life. So I guess she took a shit ton of pictures like throughout the years, and she kind of went back and revisited. Like she literally captured. She's a hardcore photographer. She captured all the little mundane, nuanced stuff, and she started seeing the patterns in just life. And she started categorizing stuff in folders, like the negatives, like bling bling, balling out of control, music videos, spoiled brat, prom, sweet 16, like all these little things. So I think she took pictures of like Kim Kardashian when she was like 12 or something, but like little Hollywood kids, like Beverly Hills kids,
And kids who got to go to these rich schools just because they were smart, but these kids were going to these private schools because their parents were rich, and how they were having to try to live up to those standards because their parents obviously couldn't afford what those kids could. You know, it's a very interesting documentary to where I can't 100% relate, right? But I can relate in the sense where I went to a majority white high school, right? And a lot of the kids at my white high school, it was like you turned 16, you got a car, right? I was still having to get picked up by my mom or calling my aunt, hey, I'm off of practice. Can you come get me? Or catching a ride with a friend, you know? And I think I've told you this story that I never forget. I was on the soccer team and we were getting ready to go, right? And one of the girls on the soccer team, her mom, right, showed up with a Lexus for the girl's birthday, right, with a bow on it. And this little spoiled brat, instead of saying, oh my God, you right? I know I would have been hella happy, right?
For sure.
was pissed because she got the hand-me-down Lexus.
The old body.
The old body, because
This
the
ain't
mom
even-
had gotten a new car, a new Lexus. So they gave her
Don't nobody want
the
no
old one.
hand-me-down
So she was
Lexus?
like, I can't believe this is what y'all got me for my 16th birthday.
Oh, I remember, dude. I'm at the prep school I went to, right? In the dorm, I remember we had this payphone in the hallway. So obviously, if you live in a dorm, you're probably from like out of state or something. And so after study hall, whatever, like the phone would ring, and let's say it's like your mom calling or somebody. It was a kid on the phone. And he's like, I don't know, Mom, figure it out. Like, what the fuck? He's like, God damn, Mom, you're such a fucking bitch. And slams the fucking phone. I was like me and all like my minority friends are like, ooh. Like, my mom would be on the first flight over here to whoop me if that were the case.
Let me tell y'all a story that happened to me. Speaking of that. So when I lived in College Station, right? My girlfriend and I, my roommate and I, we like kind of just stuck to each other, right? We weren't really like out and about and partying. It was kind of like we really didn't know everybody, so it was kind of like we just kind of hung out with each other. Well, anyway, we finally like started to get to know each other. We're like, all right, we both have got to like get out of this bubble. Like, we can't just depend on each other. We can't be our only friends. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, let's make new friends. So we made new friends. We're out partying, right? We bring the party back to our apartment because we were the only ones that had an off-campus apartment, right? Everybody else lived on campus. So we were the only ones. Everybody came to our apartment, you know, and we were partying. So my girlfriend had her own phone line, and so did I. So we're like partying. There's alcohol. Everything's crunk. Well, my phone rings, right? And somebody that's there at the party starts answering it, right? And they answer it, and it's my mom, because she's calling to let me know that she was going to come Sunday to visit me, right? And so I'm like, we're all like partying, we're like, woo, right? So I'm all like, yeah, everybody's like crunk in the living room. We're all like partying, right? In my
I'm giving you the backdrop.
Yeah, for sure.
Seriously. And then all of a sudden someone says, hey, someone's mom is on the phone.
Needle scratch.
And we're like, Mom? We're all like, ha, 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 right? Like, we thought somebody was like, what's your name? And so I guess whoever, I don't remember who answered the phone, but it was like, what's your name? Someone's mom named Angelus. And so I was like I went from being up here crunk to like my heart sank. And I was like, what? And I was like, who answered my phone? And I like go back there and I'm like talking to my mom like this. And me and my mom saying, is that what I sent you to college for?
Is that where my money?
Exactly. Do you know how hard it is for me to be able to pay just because you got a scholarship? It doesn't pay for everything. And she's like going on, and I'm just like, okay, you can. I'll see you tomorrow. She goes, and you know what? You're packing your shit up and you're not going back. And I was like, okay, Mom, see you tomorrow. Total awkward. The next day she comes into town, right? We go eat, and I just don't even know what to say to her. Amy looks at me. I look at her, and I'm just like, it's so awkward. And we're like, I leave with her. I said, okay, Amy, I'll be back later. And we're like going out to eat. My mom's like, okay, do you understand why I'm upset? And I'm just like, yes. Okay, do you understand how irresponsible that is of you? I'm like, okay, no, I don't, because it was a weekend. I wasn't in, my homework was done, right? Like, my grades were fine, so I didn't understand the problem. But anyway, that was my...
Damn.
I know, right?
I'm glad it didn't go the fisting route, because I was like, where is this going?
Come on now. Come on,
Where is
Chingo.
this going?
Come on. That's not the kind of girl you married.
Hey, I don't know. If people listen to this podcast, they're like, I don't know. They really talk about getting down dirty quite a bit.
And no, it's usually like, remember you fell asleep on the couch on that part? It's more of what it is. Okay, generation
but we do
wealth.
get down and dirty, though.
Hey,
people know.
Come on. Come on, somebody.
They should be getting down with the blings.
Yeah,
It should be like keeping your man happy and healthy episode.
I could give some tips.
Come on now. She could do a seminar on that one. Okay. So generation wealth, that's pretty dope. Abducted in plain sight. If you want to see a dude jack off another dude, apparently.
And do they show everything?
No, they don't.
They simulate. You just hear it.
Well, what's crazy is that the people are telling the story, like the mom, the dad, the daughter, and the whole family, like the victims. They're like having to answer the questions as like the documentary is kind of going through. So the dad,
The real ones?
The real ones. Oh. He reveals it. You haven't seen the meme of the guy in like the Hawaiian shirt, you know, with he's like a portly guy. He's got his like hands just kind of on his stomach, and the meme is like when somebody says that the fire festival doc was the craziest stunt to get out of a situation, and it's just the guy because he was about to blow the dude. This guy jerked off. It's
wow. Netflix.
Crazy.
I'm seeing a pattern. Netflix.
Speaking of jacking off, we saw the Lorena Bobbitt documentary, bro.
Yeah, that one had more than jacking off. Yeah, that's one of the ones I want to talk about, man.
I'm not familiar with it.
So Lorena Bobbitt.
Well, he was really young, boo.
Okay, do you know who Lorena Bobbitt is? Okay.
No.
So
educate us.
In the early 90s.
I was really young too, so it was kind of like, you know, taboo when we kind of heard about it. It was kind of like, whoa.
I was like, it's a little bit older than her, but in the early 90s, I think I was probably in high school or something. This is what happened. The shit hit the news. This Latina was married to this white ex-Marine, and they were married. Long story short, the fucking cops get called because he's bleeding, and she cut off his wee-wee.
What?
She said,
literally chopped that bitch off with a knife.
He was drunk. Her side of the story is he was very, very abusive. She finally got tired of it, right? So,
but the testimony she gave was not that, which is weird. But anyway,
she gave several testimonies, right? So the waters get murky. I'm just trying to set the stage. So it's early 90s. Lorena Bobbitt, she's Ecuadorian, but she lived in America, whatever. She marries this white Marine dude. The night of the incident, she slices it off, and on the police monitor, this is back before cell phones, like they didn't want to say, you know, penis.
On the radio.
Yeah, on the radio. They're just like, we're looking for the appendage. Like, they're, yeah. So she ended up telling them where she threw it, because she threw it out in the field near 7-Eleven.
Cops had to go find it.
So the cops was like, try not to step on it. And they finally found it. Luckily, there was this really good fucking microsurgeon, the people that deal with like veins and vascular.
Well, wait. Tell them how they had to pick it up. Someone put it in a
hot dog bag with some ice
They
from
knew
7-Eleven.
they knew to do all this to bring it to the microsurgeon.
So they transport the little Winky to the place, and he's losing hella blood. Anyway, they find a way to kind of reattach it, but it's, you know, it's a little bit Frankenpenis a little bit. And long story short, now they're going to court. Like, now it became this huge thing because in the media at the time, you know, vagina, you could say, and people were a little bit more comfortable with, but penis, people still got the giggles about, right? So a lot of publications didn't know how to deal with it or whatever. So long story short, it became like the OJ case, like on TV. It was on every tabloid. Like, it was like the meme. Before memes, it was the meme, basically. Mm-hmm. And it was like Bobbittized, Lorena Bobbitt. Bitch, I'm a Lorena Bobbitt. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a thing. And but if you watch this documentary, it's a 4-part series, executive produced by Jordan Peele from Key and Peele.
Oh, cool.
Also, he did Get Out. And the editing is great. They talk to them now, present tense. But it's fucking bizarre because this motherfucker, John Wayne Bobbitt, he went on to do porn. He went on to like host like weird shit at Hooters,
it was like lookalike
John Wayne Bobbitt lookalike contest.
And then there was like a Lorena Bobbitt
tranny lookalike, and he'd be the judge. So he was just trying to make money.
Went to I guess it was like a drag show where they were dressing up like Lorena Bobbitt, and then he was like letting them pull down his pants.
He started stripping a little bit.
It was really.
With his Frankenpenis and shit?
Yeah, so
the Frankenpenis is working.
Later.
The reason why he
tried to get an extension.
Yeah.
And it backfired. So they were on
girth and extension.
Girth and length. So, you know, he didn't have it on natural, you know, like some of us, you know what I'm talking about? So he was on the radio show Howard Stern like several times because he was
ain't lying, Rob.
You know what I'm talking about?
Let me introduce you to Girth Brooks over here.
Yeah. So he was on Howard Stern several times. And he was just like a running joke type of person, but he ended up they kept saying he's not the smartest knife scissor or whatever in the fucking thing, and so he even got screwed out of his porn money. Like, he just signed a whack ass contract, didn't get no back end. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended.
And they made so much money off of that
because people were curious, like, what's up with this fucking dude. And then you ever heard of the Bunny Ranch in Nevada? Yeah. So he was hired to be the celebrity greeter. So when people coming in trying to buy some poontang, he'd be like, "Welcome, I'm John Wayne Bobbitt, and come pick your poontang," and all the poontang line up. But he ended up running off with one of the girls. This is crazy. He runs off with one of the girls, ends up abusing the shit out of her, like beating her up and hanging her over a balcony,
where she was able to like barely escape because she was about to be.
So he was like always broke and just a fuck up and super abusive. And then towards the end, I don't want to spoil alert, but like obviously he was abused.
Yeah,
you know, he's got his
still
issues.
Alive?
Yeah, they're probably like early 50s or something. But here's the common denominator in all this shit, man. Some motherfuckers need to work out their issues in therapy. Everything from suicide with, you know, youngsters to generation wealth, people not being happy with, you know, money and where they live and all themselves. These social pressures. Abducted in plain sight, that's its own thing. You know, but anyway, the Lorena Bobbitt shit, it was entertaining, especially if you were around in the 90s and you heard about the shit, because they show a lot of the court trial drama. So like the lawyer, they'll interview like the district attorney, and one of the cool themes is that at the time there wasn't a lot of conversation
about domestic.
Oh,
women's
why
rights.
It was a big thing?
That was a big part of it.
Because, you know, they didn't consider it rape if it was your husband who was trying to have
marital
sex
rape.
with you. It's like, but it's not considered it because it's almost like you're that man's property
in a
type
way.
thing in a way. So that's kind of where the problem was. There was never anything that they could technically like
what was the protocol?
Yeah, for that.
So they even interviewed the cops that were being called, that had been called to the they'd call the cops to their house a couple times, but
because that was crazy.
So they tried to frame her as like a feisty Latina that took matters into her own hands, and it doesn't equal, because she said that he sodomized her, he like raped her, like, and then there were witnesses, like little dudes in the neighborhood that he'd hang out with, and they were like, yeah, he said, I like to make girls squeal, bleed, I like when they try to fight back, like I like to make them cry and hurt, like shit like that. Crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was a really interesting issue. Yeah. All of it. It's like he says, all
stressful.
of it is
stressful.
I mean, we talking about all kinds of stuff, like bodily, just
mutilation,
people jacking off people and fisting.
Yeah, it was really
interesting. Crazy
episode.
I like it. I'm into it.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was really like, and during that same time, funny thing is that I, Tonya movie, which we just saw, even though it came out a while back, it happened around the same time to where it almost threw that headline of her cutting off his penis out because
Tonya
Harding happened.
It happened. So a lot of these tabloids basically had to shift focus or whatever. But wrapping up Lorena Bobbitt, it's called Lorena. It's on Amazon Prime. It's entertaining. They do a really good job. I mean, they hook you because you get to see like that human element of like how the fame got to them and how all this crazy shit happened, how she healed. Like she went to go on and like donate stuff to shelters and go and talk to women.
And she helps women who have been like abused.
It kind of helped her deal with her shit.
Yeah.
He never really did that. So that's why he was just running around trying to.
And she was a virgin. This was, you know, for her, she was like traditional, old school person who moved here from Ecuador. She was trying to find her, you know, Prince Charming, who she'd have a family with.
Citizenship, American dream.
Yeah, she was going to come here to hopefully have her American dream.
And this was this is in the DC area, in the DMV. So it was like Manassas, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So watch.
Shout out to the DC Improv.
Hey, but you know, and the I, Tonya, this is totally off subject, but the editing on there is fucking amazing.
Oh.
I loved the editing.
Have you seen that?
No, but Friday Friday subscribers all saw that last week. That was the recommendation.
If you go to chingobling.com or whatdidhesaid.com and you put your email in, we do this thing called Feria Fridays where we send you like a book recommendation. Shout out to Audible. You know, some shit that we're watching, a quote, some music. Just a variety of things that you could have put it on your list.
What was your music for this Friday?
I think it was me. It was shameless.
Yeah, it was a shameless plug. I liked it.
Self-promotion. It was like, hey, you know, it's Feria Friday. Fuck it, put some Feria on that bitch. But the I, Tonya, bro, I forget her name. She was in she played Harley Quinn, or what's the Joker's,
on the girl with a lot of people.
The Joker's girlfriend.
Yeah, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she played Tonya, and again, I'm dating myself, but this is in the 90s. You don't remember the Tanya and Nancy Kerrigan thing? He's probably a child.
I know the story because it was way more like
coverage, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she plays Tanya, who in the media, it was very clear cut. When I was growing up and you heard about Nancy Kerrigan was the victim. Tanya Harding and her goons busted out her knees. Yeah. Her knees were like, I thought it was like a bat or a fucking crowbar or something like that. But it was actually one of those like the things the cops use or the billy club that extends.
The nightstick thing?
No, not a nightstick.
Yes.
The long one. So she did a great job. The woman that played her mom.
I can't think of her name, but she's been on other stuff too. Let me look that up.
Google.
So she was in a fucking tumultuous relationship. Her little boyfriend, I forget Tanya's boyfriend's name, but it's crazy how she got drug into this thing, and it starts to show like different sides and like the human element, how she was really kind of a victim, you know, of abuse. Like her mom abused her and like really like pushed her to the limit to make her great.
Tanya.
Make Tanya great at skating. And she somehow confused that type of love with her little abusive boyfriend. So she didn't have anything really, like she didn't orchestrate this beating. She was actually cool with Nancy Kerrigan. But one thing that I like is that it shows like how the status quo in the skating world was really trying to keep her down. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like poor white. And, you know, her little outfits were like handmade, homemade, and, you know, just rough around the edges. So she was kind of an underdog, and she would skate her ass off, but they would hold that against her. And like, they'd always be like, you're not the face of skating, bro. You're not going to place. But she ended up going to the Olympics, and, it's crazy, dude, how it ends. Like, she ends up having to do these celebrity fights, like celebrity boxing, just to fucking pay bills. Like, they banned her from the sport.
Damn.
Even though she was like, I didn't do it. I didn't have nothing to do with it.
She's been on a lot of stuff, babe.
But regardless of that incident, like as a movie, as a film, dude, the fucking acting, the writing, the directing, like how they edit and how they were
who they picked as the casting, yeah, they did such a good job because the bodyguard, the guy who plays the bodyguard, did the real guy's justice because he like did exactly the way this acted. Because towards the end of the movie they show real footage, and so it was exactly how this guy was acting. It was crazy. Yeah.
So you know how people be like, oh, you know, acting is a thing, and you know, why don't you act? And hey, you're funny, why don't you get in that? Or oh, you seem like you could be a good actor. There's levels, and you just see, like, with these people, especially her, I don't know who her name, she played Harley Quinn, and there's levels to this shit, and the amount of drama that they brought and those little nuances, and like how each scene was so fucking powerful, bro. Those little fucking
Margot Robbie is her name.
Margot Robbie. The little details, bro, to where it's like, holy shit, it's powerful, man. And to me, that's an example of like, okay, who's your acting coach? Where did you study? You've been doing this shit for a minute. And I was blown away by that fucking movie. I love that shit. It was good.
Write it down in your notes, everybody.
It was good.
Nice. What about series? You guys watch any series?
We haven't since Ozark.
Ozark was bomb.
Let me suggest this. It's new. It's only one season. I think it's like maybe 10 episodes. It's called You. YOU.
I think okay. What is that about?
It's basically like a stalker situation.
I think I started watching it. Okay. How is he stalking her again?
He works at a bookstore. Have you seen that? You'd know because it's really good.
I think I might have seen the trailer or something.
Did we do?
You'd know, like if you've seen it, you'd know. So I'd suggest You. It's really good.
They got a lot of stalker, abducted type of shit.
It's the
thing. I mean, look at the little girl who was kidnapped at the bus stop. Then this guy kills her parents, and then they're having a Christmas party down the street at his dad's house. Dad didn't even know he kidnapped this little girl. This little girl was able to escape while he went to go to the party, and she escaped. And this neighbor down the street.
When did that happen?
Not too long ago. I mean,
so
it's like
here's a common denominator.
Man,
I don't know what other countries this shit happens in, But
Or how
But America, I don't want to be Mr. Stirring Up shit, but like I don't know what the root of the problem is or why. I'm not saying we're sick as a society, but we live in a crazy fucking place in a crazy time because. Go ahead.
One of the things
School
that Rogan was
shootings
talking about was this whole thing. You didn't listen to that episode?
Hmm.
It's the one about the marijuana where they're having that debate.
Oh, the pot debate, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things that they also talked about is that nowadays all kids are on Adderall. So it's like
They issue,
automatically
Big Pharma,
issue
bro.
it.
Big
know?
Pharma's issuing out stuff, and I saw this meme where it says crack epidemic, and it shows like this old black and white picture, like a bunch of black dudes in prison uniforms, and then at the bottom of the meme it says opioid epidemic, and it's like a stock photo of like happy doctors and nurses, and then you have the victim, the patient, and it's like, do you get where it's going? It's basically like once you factor in race and things like that, the way the media and the way people portray stuff, it varies, right? But what I'm trying to get at is, I mean, nobody's perfect. No country's perfect. But I can't wait till in the future where they look back and be like, oh, we were fucked in the head because X, Y, Z. Like, I want them to pinpoint the shit because there's no reason why we didn't grow up with school shootings. But all of a sudden, it's a fucking thing.
Or if it did happen, I don't know how common it was as it is now.
It's like, what's wrong with these fucking kids that are doing this? Like, I understand if you, like, have PTSD and you went off to the military and you kind of a little off the rocker,
Well,
and you have a little flashbacks.
Different, though.
I know that, but I understand. Right. I'm not equating, but it's like if, let's say Rob went to Vietnam and he saw some shit. Rob comes back, hey man, don't leave Rob alone in the dark. Don't be dropping books around Rob.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Flashback.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I kind of get where it's from, but it's like, okay, what's up with that motherfucker? The one that's plotting, and why didn't nobody see the shit? Where were the parents at? Where were maybe the teachers? And you know, it just sucks, man, because you know, I have a 10-year-old in school, and you know, because we ask her like, hey, so do you see any bullying going on at school?
That's another thing that I just didn't.
I mean, we had bullies, but
yeah, for sure.
But you know, put you in a karate class, and you know.
There's always roughhousing and bullying that goes on.
Teasing,
but like one of the things that they talked about on that podcast we were listening to on Joe Rogan was that the bullying is so bad it's driven some of these kids to suicide. So I guess my thing is like, what are these kids doing to drive another kid to suicide?
You can't switch schools?
One of the biggest things is that it follows them home because of social media. Like, it's not just at school anymore. It's not just on the bus. It's at home because there's social profiles and they have things that they post online, and then other kids get a hold of them and they pass them around. They text them, and it's constant. So it's not just like between the hours of 8 and 3. It's all day, every day.
So, like, they post a picture of what?
Like whatever, like if they make fun of them, maybe they make a meme about them, they make a picture, they post a video or some sort, and it's a constant roast.
Like you're the laughing stock.
Yeah,
Man, I didn't give a fuck.
Like you shit your pants.
Right, and that's another thing though. It's just like some people are wired to be real sensitive because we live in one of the most sensitive times ever.
Well, you know, here's another thing too. I heard, I heard Joey Diaz talking about this shit. Like there was a case of like a 10-year-old boy that killed himself, and in the autopsy or whatever, they found his brain. He had CTE, right? The shit from football. Right. So he had been playing football since he was like 6, and he had a couple concussions back to back. And you see it with like Junior Seau or a lot of these NFL dudes who go off and like either kill somebody or kill themselves. So the brain is delicate, whatever. And at least, I mean, I guess in that case, you kind of find the source, you know.
It's scary, right? It's just like really. Because even like, you know, sometimes like with road rage, you don't ever know who really has that road rage, and they'll just can go off the rocker and try to like follow you and like pull out. Exactly. It's like you never know now with what that person was feeling, what's going on with them. You know, it's like you really honestly like, I don't know, man. We're in a different time. We're honestly in a totally different time.
But studies find it's the safest time to be alive.
How though?
In the United States, just like there are, believe it or not, less abductions. There's less, you know, violence. There's less crime, just statistically, than there was 20, 30, 40 years ago.
I guess what we're talking about is more like mass school shootings or mass shootings in general, like
or more of a mental issue, babe. I think that's kind of like
it's like
Shook
the whole
ones.
thing is fucked up, bro. Yeah.
Shook one.
The
Get
whole-
on Audible.
Even like the War of Art, because in the War of Art, he even says like so much of the world's problems and crimes and depression will go away if people would pursue that thing, like write that novel or fucking learn that thing that they've been trying to do, and that because that's where a big source of pain and shit comes from with people. But
Yeah, it's unhappiness.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's just, yeah.
We're up and down on this podcast. I love it.
Yeah, for real.
yeah, so with Tanya, that's just an isolated, that's her plight and the status quo and all that. So that ain't got nothing to do with like a super sick society. It was just
Well,
a
her
couple.
mom was sick, though.
Her mom was kind of iffy,
And that's why she accepted a lot of the things that were happening in her life because she
and her
thought
boyfriend was a dumbass.
Yeah, he was an abuser also, and
then
because her
boyfriend's
mom was an
friend-
abuser,
and her boyfriend's friend who actually
she thought that it was totally a normal way of life, and it's not.
abducted in plain sight. That had a sicko in it. I haven't seen it, but that's some sicko shit. That's some sicko shit. A lot of sicko shit happening. Generation wealth. I almost feel like these kids are a victim of their wealth.
One of the other things that I talked about on Generation Wealth is, and I'm not saying that I was like, but I could kind of relate in the sense that this woman didn't want to have kids because she was so focused on herself, and that's kind of how I selfishly was. I
For sure.
felt like I didn't ever want kids because I just was worried about myself and I was enjoying me, and so having a kid to me seemed like a burden, almost like, ooh, that sounds like wait. Now
That's like a human pet.
yeah, like
I'm gonna
it's
That's how I
like
used to think of it too. For
you
real.
know, so it's like for me for a long time, that's kind of how I felt. And I remember my mom telling me one time, she's like, when you find the right person, you'll feel like there will be something missing. She goes, you'll be in love. It'll be you guys, but you'll feel like there's still something missing. And that's when you'll know that it's like now you want a child. She's like, but if you never feel that, then you're just that one person who doesn't really care to have children, right? So I was just like, okay, well, damn, I'm hella old and I still ain't got not one little itch to have a child. I like to get up whenever I wanted to get up. I like to go and come as I pleased. I got to go to school. I got to party. I got to travel. So it was like, why would I have a child
Slow me down.
to slow me down? Exactly. Like, why? And then that time came where I told him, I was like, he even said, he's like, really? Like, you were just kind of like, I don't ever want children. I'm cool with that. I would tell him, I'm glad you have one. That means you'll never want me to have one, so I'm glad you're not going to ask me for one. So
now I want to have a third.
Oh, jeez.
And now I'm open to it. The person who said I never want children now is open to the idea of, okay, well, a second one sounds cool.
Get cute.
And then in Lorena Bobbitt, you had a couple sickos. And I guess society was sick because how is it possible that women had to fight so hard to just get, there was even a bill, like a law by, I think it was Mitt Romney and somebody else, or no, Joe Biden and another cat, where it was like they're going to allocate money to help with like social services that had to do with like abuse to women. And then I think the Republicans took the Senate or whatever. I don't understand all that shit. But long story short, they're like, yeah, cool story, bro. Fuck that money. And they just, it got baller blocked or whatever. I don't know the politics. I got to watch that part again. But out of one case of one penis, it's like, it was really like a lot of women were kind of like, oh, finally, like I've been wanting to do that, or how bad was she abused to get to that point? And they pretty much found that she had PTSD from this fucking dude. Like that dude, doctor went on the stand, like she shows all the symptoms of like PTSD and witnesses. She was a manicurist, a nail tech or whatever. And one witness was like, yeah, she was out of it. Like she pulled her sleeves up to work on my nails, and she had these marks, and
she was a key witness. And like, I think who was the person that like called her up, like almost like an anonymous call. Remember? It was really weird. She was like key witness. They were able to get a hold of her. I think it was the doctor who needed to get a hold of her. It was really weird.
Yeah.
But, when I used to work at the foster agency, like
Foster parent.
I wasn't a foster parent.
Yeah,
I
I know,
worked at the foster
parent
agency. Yeah. There was a lady there who one of the caseworkers used to volunteer at the women's shelter, right? And I was like, oh, it's like, really, you do that? She's like, yeah, you interested? I was like, yes. I went through the whole process of, becoming a volunteer. Finally, I decided to do it one night, right? I never again could do it.
Depressing.
I didn't know who to save. I didn't know who to save. Like, I just didn't know. It was just like, you're hiding with your kids from this person. Yeah. And you can't, it's like they're hiding. You're not allowed. Like, when you park there, it's kind of interesting. Like, the whole process of coming in, like, making sure no one's following you. Nobody came in behind you. It's like such a, like, they protect them so much. And it was just like, as a mom, I guess there's something within you that maybe like is keeping you in that relationship, whether it be a financial reason, whether it be fear or whatever. But to have your children witness that abuse, to have your children be running away and
it fucks up a part of the brain for the kids, amygdala, like the part that processes memories and fear and some other shit. But anyway,
I just don't know how a mom can kind of like, it's easier said than done because I've never been through it, right? So for me, it's a quick opinion, right? Like, I would have gone now because I wouldn't fight, but because I wouldn't want like I would never allow.
This one fights back.
I wouldn't allow Penny to see that, or Mickey. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I wish Chingo would try to even dare do something like that. Yeah. Because then
raise your voice.
I'd let
raise your voice, Rob. This is the only time I'm able to raise my voice is on this podcast.
I'd be like, all right, Penny, this is how it goes down when somebody touches you. You see what I'm saying?
Let me show you.
Let me show you. This is what's going to happen. Whatever it is that you find, if it's a knife that you got to find.
Like, Penny, pass me that knife.
Then that's what you're going to do because it's my life or yours, and you're not going to ruin my child's life. So I'm going to go ahead and let you see. You protect yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like,
and guess what? Ain't no hot dog bag with ice.
I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna put it in the blender and then like blend it.
When the cops say, "Where's that?" It's in the blender.
And now you're gonna pee like a girl.
You gotta sit down.
Sit. Need a shiwi.
Sit your ass down.
And that's what's gonna happen.
So speaking of foster parents, my parents were foster parents for like many years. I don't even know all of my mom's stats, like how many kids.
But it was so good. She was on Cristina.
She was on the Cristina show.
What? Yeah.
Wow. But
she would win awards. Both of my sisters too were foster parents, and I even like as a kid I thought to myself like, it was a kind of cool experience to have like foster brothers and sisters, and I was like, who knows, maybe when I'm an adult might
oh, I'd be down, babe.
Yeah, it gets tricky though. I mean, it's cool. Like I used to like when it was like Christmas time, and it was like this a lot of people would donate toys, and they'd have it at this one big warehouse, and one particular group was the Gold Wing Bike Club. It's like older senior citizens. You know them?
No.
And those big cross country BMW motorcycles. Well, they did a lot. But anyway, it'd be like a warehouse full of toys, and you had to it was organized some kind of way, but they knew how many kids you had in your house, what ages, and then you'd leave with like a couple bikes and a bag full of stuff. And but yeah, man, some of the kids, depending on their case and the social workers, some they'd have like supervised family visits to where, let's say we're in this office building at some type of service center or whatever, and you're there with a little family, like a couple brothers and sisters, and then like the mom or whatever would show up, and you'd kind of see like, did she get her shit together? Is she on drugs? Is she still with that loser boyfriend? And it kind of sucks, but my mom created super, and my sisters as well, but like I didn't live with them, but like super loving environment to where these kids were like nurtured, and my mom made them like feel secure, believe in themselves. Like you see their grades go up. Like she'd go to the schools all the time and fight with the principal and the teachers if she felt like the kids were getting a shitty end of the stick type of thing. Like, hey, y'all not gonna be calling them out about XYZ type of thing. But she won awards and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, you've got good foster parents, and then you got foster parents who do it for money. And
Yeah,
I'm
and
just
some
telling
get a
you
bad
because
rep.
you know
A lot
I
of them get a
worked
bad
at
rep,
I worked at the place, and it was just like annoying.
I'm
you
sure
know?
a lot of them are even abusive as well.
And
There's
they take
there's
advantage
bad
of their
apples.
they take advantage of their food stamps. They take
Vouchers.
advantage. Yeah, I mean they take advantage of a lot of stuff. Trust me, it was constantly seen, and we'd have to pull kids out from these foster parents who were going to have to cut them off. You know, shut them down.
To where it was almost like not even a good environment because maybe it was crowded or it was chaotic in the house or something.
And that was a job. That was a job that
You're mean
I
to
had to
them.
quit because I was taking that home with me. Like I was thinking about it at night, like about the little girl who just came in, you know, and her issue. And so I was a caseworker's assistant, and that's when I was going to school to do criminal justice. So that was the reason kind of why I was working there. And so we used to get kids that came from TYC, and so
Texas Youth Corrections.
And so a lot of those kids, like one girl that came in there, or whatever, to join the gang, right? A gang that she was, whatever. She had to kind of sleep with her brothers, her brothers' friends that were in the gang, so that she could be a part of it. Does that make sense? So now this little girl had done her time, right? So their halfway house, you go to a foster parent, right? You can't go home if your house is not the right environment. Her time was up. She was in my office calling every family member that she knew nobody would take her. So they didn't know what to do with her because she was still not 18. So they still couldn't just release her to the world. Like, here you go. Here's a check and figure it out on your own. That's what happens when you're 18. You're out of the system. We're done with you. We've done what we could. Here you go. Here's a little check for you. Figure it out.
Damn.
So,
You're an adult.
You're an adult, yeah. So I felt so bad for her, and I just didn't know what to do. So then I called my Aunt Mary. I called my Aunt Mary. I'm like, hey, you know how Marvin's parents used to be foster parents? Wouldn't you consider it? Like, you should really consider it. And I'm like trying to convince her to like become a foster parent so that maybe this little girl could come into her home. And you know what I'm saying? It was just, I got in trouble for helping when you're not supposed to.
Yeah, you're being too helpful.
Yeah, you're being too helpful. So I couldn't some of those kids would come in, and so then I'd bring clothes and I'd donate it, right? And so then it was like, you can't do that. Like, it just
There's a
doesn't.
protocol.
Yeah.
But like the shitty thing about that whole world is these, kids are innocent. Kids, they're the victims. You know what I mean? So when you hear about some of the stuff, like why they're in the foster care system, like what went down, or like, the stepdad was putting out cigarettes on them, and they were,
or when you pick up a 2-year-old that's been molested by the mom's boyfriend.
Babies.
I cried the whole way home when I picked her up from the airport. She came from Dallas. She was in my back seat. I was crying. This is not my child, right? This child's going to go now to a better foster home, right? Or to a new foster home. And I was telling him I was crying the whole way there because I can't imagine
the anger, just the anger of like,
baby,
kind of fucking creep.
2, bro, 2
years old. What kind of a fucking creep?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Exactly. See,
Correct.
yeah,
One of those kind of episodes.
So
brother.
do you see why I had to quit that job? Yeah, I was like, it was overwhelming. I couldn't do it anymore. It was like when I was quitting, my boss was like, really, like, why are you leaving? Like, isn't this what you want to do? I was like, yes. I don't know. I don't know that I want to work with the youth because I'd be trying to save everybody and their mom. Like, it just wasn't for me. It was so sad. It was really heavy.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
That's super heavy, guys. Let's take a right turn into Pleasantville.
Yeah. And we'll be back.
Yeah.
And let's take a right turn and let's talk about Chingo. Chingo and friends Wednesday nights at Joke Joint. I just want to give that couple a shout out who comes.
Joe, and I think her name's Cindy.
I can't remember the wife's name, but it was so
They're from
cool.
Chicago.
They're from Chicago. They've been here. Well, they're from Chicago, but they consider this home now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it was really cool speaking to them only because they've found out about Chingo through going to one of Juan Villarreal's show, who was on the podcast last
that's
week,
so funny.
right? And
So they were they're Juan fans, and they
Juan
were supporting
fans.
him, and then they saw me
And then they started
they
supporting
saw me
him.
fucking around on stage, like one of those times that I mentioned where I was like, I didn't know what I was doing. But you know, they liked it enough to follow and show love.
And they've been to every show, and they came to the.
So the pressure's on. Where I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I got the same jokes from last week, right? You know that, right?
And so it's like it's so cool because they had like everything that you can like. They were just like hardcore fans, and
That's
it's really
awesome.
cool. For me, when I'm at the merch booth at the shows, and they come up to me and tell me, "Oh, I've been following him since blah 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 blah. Oh my God, you know this and that," and it's like. I like always want to hug them. I'm like, oh, thank you for being such a good, you know, like such a good fan, you know, just like so loyal. That's one of those guys. It's just kind of like
That reminds me of this cool article that everybody should go read. If you're a content creator, it's called 1,000 True Fans.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
So if you haven't read that and you think that you're a content creator and you think you need millions and millions of followers, like read 1,000 True Fans. And what my soul explained is exactly what you need in a true fan.
Yeah.
And honestly, man, that's always been my approach because 1,000 True Fans, it basically shows how, like what Rob said, it's like you can make a living, you know, these days without having without being a household name. You don't got to be triple platinum, you know. But from the beginning, man, that's always been my approach. Is like I just want to have a good relationship with the people that support the stuff that I make, and I mean, we've been keeping it moving, just trying to grow it every year ever since. And
well, you've done an amazing job all these years
evolving
of you know, being very like connected with your fans. So I think that's followed you all through because of that. You know, that's why you have these hardcore fans, because you've been very.
Because I'm trill and humble at the same time.
And I've seen some of the comments on YouTube and Instagram be like Chingo 2.0, you know, the new Chingon or whatever. I'm like, that's fucking cool.
I never saw those comments.
Realizing that.
But the cool thing is, like, we've put out a variety of stuff. So, like, the other day, you know, we're off from the road. We hit it again March 2nd, Midland. We do a bunch of Texas stuff. All my dates on chingobling.com. But I decided to post like some throwback El Mamado skits, and there's a whole bunch more. Like Joseph, who like rips them for me. He's been working and stuff, so I'm probably gonna have to get on the computer and rip a couple. But I wanted to take that particular character, and I put a hashtag on there like Mamado Week, so that maybe let's just say a year goes by and we post them again. It's like, it's like Shark Week.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, when Canelo fights, I mean, the Canelo stuff is starting to get a little, it's burnt out.
People love it.
Yeah.
But to me, it's a little burnt out. But when you bring it back, like every year that goes by, and it's like, remember this first one? It's like, I haven't seen this in 5, 6, 7, however many years it's been. Like, I haven't seen this in so many years. Like, I still get a laugh out of it or whatever. Or you put the good parts out there. But maybe this El Mamado one, it could be another little Mamado Week where it's like you're posting the best stuff. And then some people are like, you need to bring it back. And I'm like, but the wig was stolen. But I'm starting to think Mamado, he might have to wear a little hat, or he might change his little hair color, or or
I just need to get on Amazon and maybe look for something similar to that, because I found one at Party City, and just it was yellow. Dude, not really.
Those clips when I was younger, I shared that stuff more than anything else. For some reason, it was so funny. Everybody that I shared it with, they would lose their shit.
Younger, but goddamn, how long ago was it, Rob?
Dude, it was like 7 years ago.
Oh
no, 5.
Some of that stuff was like 5, 6. Because
all right, 6 years ago.
Actually, you know why? Because that's when I first started dating Marisol.
Mm-hmm.
So about 5 or 6 years.
I keep track.
5
I keep track. Me and my baby.
Well, I remember because it was when I dropped out of college and I'd moved back and started working.
Oh, that sounds like a cool story. I was about to take a sip. I was like, oh, dropped out of college. I want to tell that.
No, man, I went to Sam Houston State. I should have went to U of H, but I went to Sam because I wanted to get away from home. Some drink.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She wants a
Sam
beer.
Houston State is in Huntsville?
Yeah. Went up to Huntsville and...
with all the prisons?
Yeah, pretty much. Somebody's there is named Robert Garza, I think.
What is there to do in Huntsville?
Nothing. No.
Rania, when Rania was out there.
Your friend Rania?
Yeah, my girlfriend Rania. And I was like, she'd be like, you want to come visit? I was like,
ooh, Huntsville? No, I'm cool.
There's 2
why
bars.
Why don't you come into town and spend the night at my house?
For real. I ended up coming home like almost every weekend.
Oh, yeah, it's not that far.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So you went to Sam Houston?
Same with Sam Houston, and I was going for business and like computer science. And yeah, dude, after a semester, I was like, I feel like I'm doing the same thing I did in high school. Felt super unfulfilled. I was starting to have anxiety from how like lost I felt, and I was like, can't do this.
You felt did you feel like isolated and lonely? Like,
No, because I was partying for sure. So I made a bunch of friends.
So you didn't miss home?
No, hell no. I didn't miss home, and it wasn't like that. It was just like there was a sense of direction that was missing that I knew needed to be I needed to be aware of it, and I had no sense of direction. So I came home, started working, and that's when I was like, okay, I always said I want to open a business, and that's when the business majoring in school just went business majoring into the hustle of life, and started doing small, business things, and then it kind of just went from there. But along the way, it was content creators because I always wanted to be a musician because I play guitar and drums and that kind of stuff. And
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, comedy. Like I did a couple open mics and.
Well, you did comedy?
Yeah.
What?
How long we known this dude?
And we're just now finding that out.
Why you don't mention shit like this?
I talk when spoken
you know I
guys.
got Chingo and friends every Wednesday.
I know.
Yeah.
What you got, man? A hot five? What you got?
I had a high five when it was funny 5
shit.
years ago.
Okay.
No, but so along the way, man, and then podcasting came out, and I was like, oh, this is my medium. And then I started, helping people with podcasts and doing that thing, and interviewing people like Adam Scorgi and like business owners from around the city. And I was like, okay, and that's how relationships, started building and things started happening. Just being a content creator and an entrepreneur at the same time.
Before I forget, speaking of like podcasts and radio, shout out to Barry Laminack. Barry, I think I fucked up your last name. Barry Laminack or Laminack. That motherfucker, number one, motherfucker's funny. Two, he had me on his show on ESPN 97.5 FM. So, yeah, man, they had a nice studio over there. They showed love. I went on there to promote like Chingo and friends and stuff.
Every time he goes somewhere, and then he's like, man, you got to see this. I'm always like,
what?
Why you got to dog our studio?
Our studio's cool. I mean, that little section back there looks like storage.
I walk in and there's just newspaper everywhere.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
I've been cutting the paper, but I do want to put up the picture from the Latinos Fuck Tour with all of us, me and the kids, and so on. Maybe up above the blue velvet couch, and maybe some art, something cool. Maybe get with Donkey Boy or something over here.
Yeah, he needs to make something. I wouldn't even mind having, if he could redo those faces that you had, like the Tío Juventino. I think that would be cool to have on the wall.
Because he did that mural.
Yeah, I would love it if that was on there.
That might be something.
Do you think you have enough old content to like make a small I don't want to say DVD because obviously it wouldn't be DVD, but like small content.
All those videos that you have that haven't been.
Me and Frank did one years ago, and that was like based off of old content. But anyway, go on and say what you.
Well, I was just curious because I was listening to Rogan and Sam Harris, which is always a good conversation, and they were talking about the way that the internet's going as far as content. There's always going to be the advertising approach. You put stuff up like podcasts or shows or whatever, and there's advertisers, commercials, and then there's free. You put stuff out there, and then there's paid walls. So a lot of people put things behind, like Netflix is a paid wall. You have to pay your $10 a month to get access to Netflix, right? Patreon.
I don't like walls, brother, but go on.
We'll call them something else.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say fence.
Yeah.
And then now Facebook's kind of in beta with this thing called Facebook subscriptions, basically. So you can actually have a paid wall.
Facebook subscription?
Yeah. So if you're a content creator, they're trying to tackle Patreon. They're trying to get into the Patreon space where you can just make, your video series or something, and it's a paid wall for access to that particular content.
We talked about Patreon. Did we mention that to
We
you
did,
a while
we did.
back? Yeah.
Yeah.
I want him to even have a Chingo Bling app.
Right.
Like, I've really been bugging him about that. I really think that we need to have a Chingo Bling app, and maybe the fans who are listening.
I just want it to be sustainable.
And I just want it to be a pretty dope place where he gives exclusive content to his hardcore fans. Like, we can do something else for social media, but if you're and where I got the idea was because Kim Kardashian, I have her little emojis, right? And he's got emojis too, which he was like, I keep pushing him we need to add more, and it's almost the same thing where he's going to tell me
we're gonna have to add staff,
right? And so he feels like, okay, that's another person.
Because if not, it's like, hey Rob, I know you're busy doing XYZ,
but
and
can
ABC.
So those are things that I are on my for Chingo to do kind of thing, that I see for him. And so executing is always really hard because, as you can see, before you got here, what were we were working on another project, So there's always things happening to where a lot of other things, cool things that I kind of think should be done get thrown in the back burner, which is like the Chingo Bling app, which I think would be cool to give like just exclusive content, you know, cool videos, you know, like even he's got these old school videos that they're supposed to be. Your friend still has them, right? Someone still has
I need to make time to go pick them up. So it's a bunch of these mini DV tapes. You probably haven't seen those in a long time, but it's from when I first started in the rap game, and we always had like a video guy with us. And over the years, we accumulated this like bag or box full of tapes of just me with a baby face. With either I had foil in my mouth, or I had a real grill, or I had the cowboy hat. I had all that. It's like just years ago. Some of these tapes are probably like 15 years old.
So how cool would that be if you're a Chingo Bling on the Chingo Bling app and you get to see these videos exclusively if you subscribe, right? And that, I just think, I don't know.
Sure, you can post clips, but this is how I look at things. The way I look at things is, if I were to executive produce this idea, it'd be like, we need a script of the story. My name is Pedro Herrera. I was born and da-da-da-da-da. Like, just script it all out. Like my fucking I, Tanya type of thing, right? And then in the script, it'll say, on paper, it'll be like, and we cut to footage from that particular show. Find the tape. Or we cut to a montage of me in like the very, very first tapes, right? Or whatever is in the script, in the story, because you're going to want to tell the story. So, for instance, in Generation Wealth, it's from a photographer's standpoint of like, I was taking these pictures and I was starting to notice, and you know, years later, it's like, in order for those photos to become a movie, it has to be a script format. In order for Fahrenheit 11.9 to become a movie, he has to have a typed out argument. This is why I think this is dangerous. This is why I think this is corrupt. This is what I think is wrong with society. And then in the script, it's going to have to say, cut to footage of Donald Trump announcing his presidency. Cut to him being creepy with Ivanka.
As you can see, this is another project.
Yeah, for sure.
In order to do it right.
Right.
Otherwise, have an intern dig through tapes and export a minute of a clip at a time and then put it on social media, and then people are like, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, I think.
It could be a hub, though, where it's something's a catalyst to why they would want to subscribe, and then everything else is kind of uploaded as extra things because you subscribed for, let's just say, for instance, so I'm a huge John Mayer fan. We talked about that when Mo was here.
Yeah. Yeah, you creamed your pants on that. He's my favorite human.
I already got tickets to the show at the Toyota Center in September.
Oh, wow.
Day they came out. Anyway,
nice.
So there was a fan that
so
went
it's
out.
fisting out of the
No, I mean,
John
if it's on
Mayer
the table,
equation.
like sign the guitar, sign my guitar, do whatever you want,
Does
man.
that come with it? The guitar
He's
part of the
jack
deal?
him off.
So it's gonna be
I was abducted in plain sight.
All right,
Except I volunteered.
nice. John Mayer? Can you abduct me? And then I can join your gang, and then we get
Hang out with Dave Chappelle and, at the Comedy Store. Anyway,
y'all sit crisscross applesauce, and then okay.
So a fan, one of his true fans, went out and dug up all this content of his, videos and interviews, and he ended up making it spending like 300 hours or something like that on this documentary that a fan made. It was a fan made documentary.
Oh wow!
So impactful. It was all like chronological, like you were talking about, like literally him starting to play guitar and what inspired him, kind of thing. But it was all just it was all interviews of him from the last 25 years. That throughout the documentary, you would see clips of all, him young, him now, and all that shit. And it was so awesome that John Mayer actually wrote him a hand letter saying how awesome it was.
Oh.
It's still on YouTube. It's called Someday I'll Fly. So if there's a fan, like a Chingo Bling fan, who might actually be that much of a fan and
come
can
pick
edit,
up these tapes.
go out there, source it, and make something like that.
Well, you know what, man? My boy Miguel from DC, all comes full circle, out there near Lorena Bobbitt. He's from DC. He actually was involved. His project is called Farewell Ferris Wheel.
Which, if you haven't watched that, watch
That
it. It's
shit is
really
dope.
good.
What's that on?
It's on Netflix, I believe. It should still be up. It won a bunch of awards and film festivals.
Another documentary, but it's amazing.
It shows basically how the migrant worker is an integral part of the carnival, like carny type shit, and how they're like kind of taken advantage of, and that whole thing, right?
Farewell Ferris Wheel?
Yeah, Farewell Ferris Wheel. So anyway, Miguel, that's his project. He's like, yo, dude, I cleared off my plate. What's up with them tapes? He's like, how many tapes is it? And I was already asking him, like, hey, if I mail them to you, when it goes through X-rays or post office or plane or whatever, is that going to fuck up the tapes? He said, no, it should be fine. And he'd hit me up, how many tapes is it? I was like, I haven't picked them up yet. It's almost like I need a personal assistant for some of this type of stuff.
Interesting.
So that's the holdup.
So also, if you haven't, like I mentioned it again,
I ain't got the tapes.
No, the Rogan and Sam Harris podcast. I bring it up to you to listen to because a lot of it was like content creators, paid walls, and he's even talked about for the first time ever developing an app, a Joe Rogan app. Do it before he does.
It's not about who's first. It's about who does it right.
Who does it right, and putting I don't remember if it was putting the podcast behind a paid wall, the JRE, which then it turns into a whole conversation of if people haven't paid for it and it was free for 10 years. Why would they pay for it? Going forward. Yeah. But it was an interesting conversation nonetheless.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
There's a lot of things that I think would that I always tell him about, but it's kind of like his thing's always like, there's only one of him, only one of me, and we don't have like this big staff, either.
And this is where my mind is. Let me get these jokes right. Let me get this hour. I start hitting these theaters. We start hitting these arenas. We just grow it like that. And then it becomes, it's like, someone in this office building we own is going to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right now, it's all just ancillary stuff. They're cool ideas, but it's just
not only that, but it's like, I got chops. Let me go work with this acting coach and this class for a month in LA. And then I can audition for some shit. And then it's really going to be on and popping. Which reminds me, we need to email Nick Cannon's people back about this motherfucking wilding out thing that I passed on last year, right? For good reasons, because we were having a baby.
I was trying to convince him to go, and he was like, there's no way I'm leaving. He's like,
shout out to wilding out. But
and he was like, there's no way I'm leaving when it's my baby's going to be born.
What kind of a fucking asshole would I be?
He was going to come back they were going to be off for 4th of July, but then he'd have to leave the next day.
And baby wasn't born till the 11th?
It wasn't born. Penny wasn't born till the 11th, but I was just
were they still going to be filming until the 11th?
No, they were going to be done a little bit before or something, but Penny was originally due July the 4th, right? So filming was going to happen a little bit after July, so they were going to be off for 4th of July, which meant he could have flown home on 4th of July, and then he'd have to go back.
But it's all good because the skills and tools that I, believe it or not, that I have now compared to July 11th of 2018, is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Night and day, I feel. Just, you learn, you mature every day, and I feel like everything's for a reason, but in June, I'm going to sign up for them acting classes in LA. Then when I audition, I'm going to confidently fucking knock them out. And then be like, holy shit. It's not going to be just Michael Pena all the fucking time. And
then this year, we may not do the whole month off in July like we usually do. We're thinking we're going to work.
A little bit. Maybe
just maybe 2 weeks off this time instead of the whole month.
Well, when we're living in LA for June, I'm sure we'll get some beach time because we're doing the San Diego American Comedy Club, ChingoBling.com, Latino as Fuck Tour. But in July, we'll probably take a little beach getaway or whatever, take the kids, get some sun, vitamin D.
We're supposed to do Spain.
But these jokes are coming together. This material's coming together. We might do Aruba. This material's coming together. The tour's doing great. VIP for Waco Midland's already sold out. We're already getting dates for 2020.
Yeah.
As soon as we're done podcasting, we're going to finish some of those emails. But and a big announcement for May 5th. So it's a lot of stuff rolling with or without Nick Cannon. Shout out to Nick Cannon, wilding out. But I just feel so much more prepared that if this year, July 4th, they're still down to have me try out or whatever the protocol is. I just feel like just on the funny level, performance level, I'm going to be able to hold my own in that room and not just be like, can I say something?
Yeah.
OG, pay my dues. Triple OG. You know what I'm saying?
Matthew McConaughey over here.
Right? Yeah.
You ever seen Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
That's it.
I need to watch it again.
Oh my God. We are going to.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just going to lock myself in the room. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey's dope. But that's the plan, man. So let's not get too frustrated and antsy. Like, we don't have an app. And who's in charge of these Chingojis? And what about this? And what about your documentary of all your... all that's going to work
But I
out.
have been wanting to talk to you about the Chingojis.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll follow up with you
Yeah,
on that
after
after this podcast. I haven't
On top of everything else.
Yeah, Chingo, and we got to get a lot of appropriate gifts in order for upcoming
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
Appropriate gifts.
to go along with everything, the tour and the 5th and all that.
Okay. But like I said, my focus right now is just the craft. My focus is making sure like my tool, my instrument, you know what I'm saying? My writing, my brain, my performance, and just being skilled. Like the young lady in I, Tanya. She didn't get that role by mistake. They don't cast you based on does she kind of look like Tanya. It's like you got to know how to pull this shit off. Like shout out to Gina Rodriguez. She has a new movie out called Miss Bala.
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet, but you know, when I first worked with her on Philly Brown, she was a up and coming actress. She was just a young girl from Chicago that was doing her thing in the acting, and she had respect because she landed the lead role in this independent film, which went on to kick ass and win at Sundance, and then it went to theaters, and then later came Jane the Virgin and Miss Bala and all these type of things. But just from the start, her poise and her confidence on set, you know, you saw OGs. Like I had never really been on a movie set like that, so I didn't really know. I could kind of tell who could act and, you know, who was maybe newer. But when you had people like Edward James Olmos and Lou Diamond Phillips and people like that giving her props, giving me props, that's how I knew I wasn't crazy. It's like, oh, okay, I do got chops, and yeah, she's dope, and you know, she's going places. So it's just a matter of doing your homework and studying and being on top of your craft.
I'm gonna have to watch it tonight. You keep referenced that I, Tanya, so many times.
It's dope, man.
It's just really
did a
good.
Really good job.
I really enjoy. I paid attention to the editing. That was the first thing I told him. I said
The shots,
this
the
editing.
direction.
I was
the
like,
direction.
my God. I said, I love it. I love what they did. How they went back and forth.
It was just like
You're in the middle.
long shot,
Yeah, exactly.
boom.
Yeah.
She gets slammed on the wall. She delivers dialogue. But you know, that's what love is. And then, bam,
Yeah.
trunk.
That's cool.
It's dope.
Ice.
Yeah, it was really, really dope. So I
Like
really,
my sound effect.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you ever done voiceover?
I'm nice with the voiceover.
Dude,
you know.
I love voiceover.
Oh my
work.
God.
I need a voiceover agent.
That's the one thing I want to do too.
Listen. Oh my God. You know that list of things that I want
Yeah.
for him, right? That's one of them. And so I always tell him, like, when we go to LA, one of the things that I want is for you to get like a voiceover coach.
Dude,
Look,
I
man,
love
I'm
voiceover
trying to be a
stuff.
hot commodity. I'm trying to be a hot commodity. And for everybody listening, I just want y'all to know that I'm a free agent. I ain't got no agent. I ain't got no Hollywood manager.
Yeah.
So I know people that got the big agents. I know people that are signed to the same agents that were trying to sign me.
Mm-hmm.
And we doing all right. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So,
That's cool.
like I
Yeah.
said, I'm trying to be a hot commodity. And when it comes to things like having a voiceover agent or whatever, not only do I think like, oh, that would be cool. It's like, wait, who can I coach with so that when they do say, hey, man, there's this new Pixar thing or whatever, I'm your agent, and if we get this, I'm going to get a cut. Cool, I like all that, but I want to make sure that I'm prepared to where I know. Like, one of the things they probably show you is how to break down the script so that you can read between the lines and kind of know how to make it your own or whatever.
Interesting.
So that you actually land a role. And
Yeah.
you're not just a dude that, hey, you seem like you'd be good at that. There's a difference between, you kind of look like Tanya. Why didn't you try out for Tanya? Did you see what the fuck the girl did? What's her name again? Robbie? What's her
No,
name?
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie. It's like, that's how you want to shut down a role to where can't nobody else be like, man, I should have got that shit, dog. No, that's how you want to kill a role, right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
That's good. That's a good way.
Yeah.
You
To,
gotta kill it like that to where it's like, what is it? A job well done? What is it? How's it go?
Do your job well. Do your job so well that when a person thinks of a job well done, they think of you.
Boom. Sauce. It's like it's a comedian. Be so good they can't ignore you. Oh, what's his name?
Barry Katz,
No, Martin. What's his name? White hair, old guy.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
wrote a book called "Be So Good They Can't Ignore You."
Yeah,
Mm.
and
Didn't
then
you do his masterclass, babe?
a
Oh,
little bit. It's on the computer, but you pick up stuff like that. But you know, it's one of those things, man. Stand up's one of those things.
right.
He could drop knowledge, but you still gotta kind of, I don't know. It's hard to do it through a fucking computer.
Right. He'd be like Seinfeld, just rehearse everything in front of the mirror.
Really?
He would write it out, and he would actually put the line where the applause breaks would go and the pauses would go, and he would meticulously like write out how he would envision the set going, and when we perform it, he would pause where the line was, wait for the crowd to react, and just like line.
Let me ask you this: how well was he doing prior to his sitcom?
Really well, from what I remember reading.
So he was killing.
Yeah, killing in New York, and then man, did you like Seinfeld? Were you into it or not?
I actually didn't like it until my mom.
Your mom sounds really cool. I'm not gonna lie.
She is. She's an interesting character. She was the one that got me into Seinfeld. And so it was like, she's like, come in my room, watch this. I was like, this looks really dumb. Like white comedy? Who watches that?
This is so white.
It's just like, I'm
going to go watch Martin.
No, exactly. I was like, no, it's not what I want to watch. She's like, no, watch it.
I'm watching comic view.
Kramer is who got me.
Oh,
so once I was like, oh yeah, this is my jam.
I didn't really get into it, but I can appreciate it now a little bit more. Even Friends, I was like, I don't really fucking get it, but now I appreciate the nuances.
My favorite Seinfeld is when Kramer's in the shower and he's showering with the cabbage, with the lettuce. Oh my god! To this day, it's like. And then my friend who was also like a big fan of the show would always call me Kramer because he said shit only happened to me that would never happen to anybody else because I always had a story.
That's funny.
They'd be like, oh, how was your weekend or whatever? I come into work and be like, oh my god, you never believe what what happened. So it'd be like, you're like the fucking female Kramer because it's like you're the you always have a story, and it's true. I always like, babe, guess what happened? Or guess what someone told me or.
That's hilarious.
So it's always like that was always the ongoing joke. You're like the female Kramer. So yeah, this episode was about just
ups and
what
downs,
to watch.
man.
What to watch.
Yeah,
it's like
everything.
We live in a sick society. There's some sick fucks out there. But enjoy the journey of life because.
And you know what's funny? I like to listen to Oprah's Masterclass podcast, right? Which is really interesting. And I was listening to Usher's story, which I haven't finished, and. He was talking about, speaking of like all the tapes that you have and all that stuff, he was like, along your journey, don't forget to take pictures because that's kind of like the only thing you have to look back on. And it's crazy because I'm a picture like whore. Like I love to take.
She said whore.
He's like, I'm a picture whore.
I was trying
like
to help
picture.
You
No.
Hoarder.
No. Well, I am a picture hoarder too because if you look at my computer, that's
She's like, I'm both.
Yeah, I have a bunch of pictures. Like my friends used to call me paparazzi because all I had was like a camera all the time because I love to take pictures. So I have a bunch of the little like Sony little miniature cameras, which I'm a hoarder because I keep my cameras.
That's funny.
So I have them. And all my iPods too, I keep them. I have them. So yeah, I'm one of those. So anyway, I've always liked pictures, and I do the same thing with him. Like I take pictures. I'll be like, "Look, babe," and he's like, "I'm so glad you're good at keeping these things." And I keep all the planners also from since I've started to help him. And then I'll look back and I'll tell him like I want to be able to look. And where I got that idea was from Joan Rivers because she kept all her.
What was that? A documentary?
A documentary.
A Joan Rivers documentary.
Really?
And so she kept all her planners. It's funny because I didn't know what to do with them. I had them in the cabinet and I was like, do I throw them away? And then we saw that. I was like, I'm so glad I kept them because she's like, when they were doing the documentary, she'd go back on and she'd say, yep, on this day, blah, 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 blah. And it was cool because when we sell out a show, I'll put like sold out or, you know what I'm saying? Or blah, blah, blah. And
That's
so
cool.
it's, I keep everything, I'll make little notes here and there. So I think it's cool that he has all these videotapes and that I feel like we need to do a better job now of documenting because I don't think we do a good job.
You know what? Speaking of that, okay, if you're really about that life, we would need to budget. I've mentioned this before. This tour, if we wanted to, we could make it like not only is it a fucking tour and then there's material and there's jokes and all that, but we can bring like a videographer with us or something, and we end up with like we document it. Basically, it's like a really good one that can pick up all those nuances of like we're rehearsing in a lobby and there's just a fly on the wall and how do you weave that into the story of whatever that year is or whatever. So just throwing it out there.
Maybe that month you spend in California, You can like Brendan and
That's a good way that's something good to document for sure, especially because we're bringing the kids. So,
and they're growing up. They're not going to be little girls forever.
So an idea for parents to do, guys, and something that we do with Mickey that we started to do is every year on her birthday, we record her and we ask her what her favorite color is at that age, favorite song.
Just a whole bunch of
stuff,
and I'll snapshot,
and I record her, and because at the end when she like maybe turns 18, when she graduates, I'd like to be able to kind of make a little video and just show her like here is how you've grown up.
Remember when you liked Justin Bieber?
Yeah,
not anymore.
So see what I'm talking about? How I love things like that. You know, what I'm saying?
Too.
Like,
I like stuff like that,
especially with kids because. They change from year to year. They grow up. They have different interests. They mature. They go through phases. And especially like with the 10-year-old, sometimes like she'll be doing like her big kid stuff, like her little messy bun, and she's being a big sister or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I remember you were this tall, big cheeks, and like, you were a little bitty kid. You were a toddler. Oh, you remember when you used to watch Dora? Okay, then. Sit down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Relax, simmer down, because you were on that little purple princess chair eating snacks, watching Dora. And, she forgets, but it's like you were obsessed with Dora.
Time flies.
They're not going to be kids forever. Yeah.
No, I can't wait for Penny to talk. I'm like,
dude, she's going to be an athlete. Like, I'm thinking scholarship. God. Like, in that walker, she has 100,000 miles on this walker. Like, she hits those corners, like, pew! She fucking cuts those corners, and she hauls ass. Her little legs are going. She's sprinting.
We took a video last night of it because she was going, like...
She's aggressive. Like, I could tell she's going to... Well, Marisol's an athlete. So if she inherits the athlete gene from her mom,
the athletic and
me,
funny.
I got a whole nother little genealogy going on, but on the athletic side, I'm thinking scholarship. Like, when are we going to put her in swimming?
So I just got info and we got to go, but the thing is now this becomes a job for the parent too.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, you got to be
because
there.
we have to be there. We have to swim with her at this age. So it's not like, we get...
Well, we can learn together. Cause I need to learn.
If anything, he needs to go because he doesn't know how to swim.
When are our swimming lessons?
I'm with you on that one. I don't either.
Rob.
I had a bad traumatic experience as a kid.
In a pool, I kind of can, right? Because it's clean. I'm a city boy. It's like it's clean. I can see the floor. There's edges. There's a little ladder. There's a lifeguard.
We went to the island of Capri in
Capri.
Italy, okay? When do you ever get to swim in the island of Capri? Right? It's almost like, when are we going to go to Italy again? It's not on our plans anytime soon, right? But you got to go to the island of Capri and you're not going to swim?
I was like, this boat is nice. I like being on this boat.
I was like, are you kidding me?
It was me and Mickey, the little chickens.
Mickey, I was able to convince. I was like, Mickey.
You didn't do it?
Yeah, I got it.
Finally, it was he was scared to swim like this far from the boat. Like,
it's like, man, how deep is this?
Boat is here. He'd go.
That'd be me.
But I did 100%. Go towards that little cave.
And he started panicking and he came back.
Because I was like, I'm going to get tired. How far is the boat?
It's like, we weren't even far.
But if I'm tired... If I'm tired, I'm going to drown. Who's going to save me?
Me.
My girl going to save me?
Yeah, I know how to swim. So it was like, I can't believe he's terrified. And I'm just like, P, we'll never get this opportunity again. Like,
fine.
And then finally he got mad. It's like, okay.
Talking shit.
He got in.
Fucking making me do stuff.
And then, and then it was like Mickey too. She was scared. And then finally when they both got out, it was like later on, it was like, Pete's like, wasn't this a good experience, Mickey?
Michaela.
You got to swim in the island. I mean, what child? I'm looking at him. Shut your mouth, little scaredy cat.
Well, then I realized later, I found out that the amount of salt in that water right there is like super high. So you're super buoyant. And it's like damn near impossible for you to drown. But they should have told me that in the beginning.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I'm not like, I love water. So to me, it's not like I'm not scared of it. So, nobody taught me how to swim. I taught myself how to swim. So
like I said, she's an athlete.
So that was my thing. So, when you grow up, in an apartment complex You know, you go to the pool. You know, your friends know how to swim, but you don't know how to swim, and you can't be the one looking like you don't know how to swim. So what do? It's like you kind of start teaching yourself, like going back and forth, you know, just from one end to the other.
Hold the edge.
And so I'd hold the edge, and I'd be like, all right, let me try to swim just one little piece, okay? And then I go further back, and then I just taught myself, and that was it. And then I was on the 9 feet, cool, with everybody else, just, you know.
And then how'd you teach your little sister to swim?
She was mad because she couldn't get inside. I just said, oh, you want to learn how to swim? Yep, okay, cool. Just pushed her in.
Sparta kick.
And then I just pushed her in the 9 feet.
Into
And
the
I mean, I
deep
was
end.
to the deep end. So I just kind of watched her.
Jeez.
Obviously, if I felt like if she was going to drown, I was going to, obviously, I knew I could pick her up. But then I was just like watching her. And, you know, you naturally are going to do what?
Dog paddle.
Dog pedal. So that's what she did.
Unless
And I
you
said-
take in water in your lungs.
well,
and you panic.
And then she was just like, she kind of got up, and then I was like, okay, keep doing it. Now, ready. And then I kind of grabbed her, and then I pushed her again. I grabbed her, pushed her in. That was it. That one day, she learned how to swim, and we were cool after that.
And
Damn.
I'm proud of myself, brother. I went to jujitsu twice this week.
I
and boxing
told him that today.
once.
I am so proud of him. He's committed to this morning jiu-jitsu
I'm
class.
gonna learn how to fight.
I'm so proud of him. I told him that this morning too.
Yeah. So the boxing, that's gonna help me with my timing and shit like that. All this is gonna translate to the stage.
Of
You know what I'm
course.
saying? Chokes and jokes.
Jokes and jokes. Gotta make that shirt.
Yeah. Every Wednesday, joke joint.
All right.
Latino as fuck tour, ChingoBling.com. We're coming
it's
to Midland,
Midland.
Waco, New Braunfels, Corpus
Just
Christi.
added Corpus.
So this month is like all Texas stuff.
Yeah. Did you want to announce the other possible cities we're going to add or no?
Which
Kingsville,
Oh,
Mathis.
we gotta discuss that.
We're maybe adding those.
Pending.
yeah.
And Chicago's pending.
Yeah, that's for this year. Because we've
So,
been getting
yeah.
a lot of feedback.
Lot.
Yeah.
That's the one I always see. No Chicago.
Well, people also ask, like, what's up with Austin?
True.
What's the other one?
Vegas.
Well, yeah, but it's
Vegas
something.
is hard.
But it's something that's really close and not even that difficult. That El Paso, El Paso, Austin.
Mickey always clowns him. Says,
Where are you
going
now?
this weekend, Dad?
El Paso.
El Paso.
And I'm like, why are you saying El Paso? You're always in El Paso. I was like, we're not even going this year. Yeah, right. You're like always in El Paso.
Yeah, it's so funny. She's like, where y'all going this weekend, Soli? El Paso.
I think she was around one of the times where I was stressing out over El Paso ticket sales. So
Yeah.
it got drilled in her head.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
you have a movie watch list. Yes, we do.
And just to recap, guys, let us know if a live podcast is something y'all would want to be a part of, be an audience of, and then join us at the Joke Joint every Wednesday until...
We're working out, Chingo and Friends, showcasing a lot of up and coming Houston talent. Actually, ESG, the rapper, is
It's gonna
stopping
be there
by
tonight.
tonight.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So
You
this
gonna
is
play one of
dropping-
his songs when he comes
Yeah.
up?
We actually played on
Yeah,
the...
he's on Man.
Yeah.
And then doom 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 doom. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'll wire a
Yeah.
board into this next time so we can play music.
The what?
I'll wire a board so we
Yeah,
can play
yeah,
music.
Yeah,
bring
we
some-
need to,
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So like a little device or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's what's missing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I think we're
That's
wrapping
it,
up.
Yeah.
My stomach, I'm like about to go eat or something. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. And
Episode
55.
55.
is in the books. And again, if you want to watch us, you can go to YouTube and peep that.
Yep.
And we'll see you in the city near you. ChingoBling.com. And don't forget to sign up for Feria Friday emails. Sas.
Peace.